Okay, so yesterday was the second march for Australia.
Pretty positive crowd, a lot of Australian flags, a lot of Australian pride.
The entirety of South Bank is filled with people marching. It's curved back around the corner to the first bridge. People are still walking across that bridge right now. You watch the mainstream media, they're going to say there's like 1,000 or 2,000 people here. That's fucking bullshit. There's 10,000 people plus here marching Brisbane right now.
Tens of thousands of Australians turned out across the country, and mainstream news organisations were at all of them. I was at the one in Perth. I spoke at the one in Perth. I saw the Channel 7 News and the Channel 9 News crews there. I wish that I had gone over and interviewed them, because now the truth of what is and is not happening at these rallies is coming out.
Police attacked members of their march. What's your response to that interpretation of what happened yesterday?
Nobody believes you. You have no credibility. Maybe turn on the TV and have a look at the pictures. They make your statements out to be quite false, to be quite honest. If you're so peaceful, if you're just trying to make your peaceful point, why are you coming with bags of railway ballast? Why are you throwing bottles with glass shards in them? Why are you throwing fruit, eggs, projectiles at the police? Why are you burning things in the streets, rubbish bins, effigies of police? Serious? Do those actions match those words or commitments? It's utter rubbish. And we should start calling this out for what it is, to be quite frank. These people should have no credibility in our society. None whatsoever. And we should all stop, governments included, facilitating their bad behaviour by pandering to them with our language.
It's becoming clear to everyone that it is the far left, the left-wing issue-motivated groups, the Free Palestine people who are happy to burn the Australian flag. They are the violent ones. And Channel 7 and Channel 9 and the mainstream media have been caught out lying and obfuscating the truth. Check out this report by Channel 7. Officers stationed between both groups as tensions rose. Similar demonstrations across Australia have also featured a heavy police presence with counter-protests in Perth. Well, I can tell you there was no counter-protest in Perth. I was there. There was a massive police presence, but they had so little to do that they got bored and left halfway through the event. Seriously. And know that with the new digital ID laws coming into effect on the 10th of December in Australia, this kind of citizen journalism is going to disappear. All the people who, like myself, would normally record these events and post them without any clever editing are going to disappear or seriously self-censor themselves. So if you want news that isn't slanted by Channel 7, Channel 9, we need to get rid of the digital ID laws coming into effect. I know that in the communist state of Victoria, there was a massive counter-protest that turned violent, but let's have a look at how it's reported on. Notice that the news anchor just says that the protests turned violent, not who turned violent.
Anti-immigration protests have turned violent as thousands rallied right across the country. In Melbourne, several police officers were assaulted, pelted with rocks, glass bottles and rotten fruit, injuring 2 officers.
And here is the police commissioner stating loudly and clearly who the violent ones are.
This is what was thrown at police today, and I think Melbourne has had a gutful. Bottles filled with shards of glass were being thrown at the police. Rotten fruit was being thrown at police. Bins were put on fire. Flags were on fire. They're not coming to protest. People came to pick a fight with the police. The people that came to pick the fight with police were the issue-motivated groups on the left. I can tell you that the March for Australia group, they were peaceful, they were engaging, they listened to our instructions, they did what they were told, and they protested by example. The other group, and there were a number of issue-motivated groups known to us, we knew they were coming. We had to deploy hundreds of police. We had police injured. I have a sergeant, a female sergeant who went to hospital with a suspected broken hand because she was kicked at. I have a member with a nasty gash on his leg from Corio. We had our port members who come out with their riot gear and their shields. These rocks were cracking some of those shields today. They're cowards. They come in face coverings, they come in masks, they come with hoodies on, they hide behind each other. You can see them. Today they have the umbrellas up, they duck down behind the water-filled barriers, they duck down, they pull the rocks out of their bags and they throw them as hard as they can at the police. And it's got to stop.
And when it comes to any kind of violence, especially political violence, Stephen Crowder said something that has stuck in my brain ever since he said it. You see, normally when we observe these things on the news, we make this sympathetic assumption that, it takes 2 to tango, that if there's a fight, both sides have to take accountability for their actions. But if somebody attacks you and you defend yourself, it's actually not useful or productive to assign blame to the victim.
Do we think that when that happens, and we peacefully mourn the loss of one of our peaceful leaders, and we are still approached with violence at memorials and at vigils with desecration, do you think that maybe the both sidesing it, saying it comes from both sides, is actually more harmful than productive? Because it lets the side that's responsible for it off the hook, the clear aggressor.
The both sidesing it, as Stephen Crowder puts it, actually misattributes blame and lets bad people off the hook. Now, there will be another March for Australia in the future. There is also the Put Australia First rally coming up on the 30th of November, which I will definitely be at. They are separate organisations, but they have the same message. And I encourage anybody who goes to these rallies in the future to take some advice from one of the spokesmen over in the eastern states.
Number one, if they yell at you, spit at you, call you names, label you a Nazi and do all those lovely things, just smile and wave. Show me, show me, show me.
The tides are turning. Police are sick of the violent protesters and they aren't covering for them anymore. Let's continue to be the side of reason and dialogue and logical consistency. And if you want to know which parties are pro-Australia, here they are. And if you want to know which parties are not, over here. And what I mean by that is, these parties fly our flag with pride, and these parties will never say boo about seeing our flag burnt in public. You're born free.